Let's now familiarize ourselves with the user interface of RStudio. So when you open RStudio for the first time, you'll see three main panes. You have the console, and there's another tab here which is the terminal, which we'll not use in this introductory tutorial, but we'll use the console a lot, of course. The upper right pane has three tabs, and the tab that we are more interested in is the environment tab. So it shows you all the objects which are in your environment. For example, if you import a data set and you store it in R, the data set is going to show up here. Or if you make any kind of calculation and you store your results in a variable, the variable is going to show up here. So that's really what your environment is. The bottom right pane has several tabs, and the tabs that we are interested in this introductory tutorial are, well, the files tab, the folder whose content we can see here is known as the working directory. So if we happen to save a file right now, or we save our work in R, this is where the file is going to end up. And of course, this can be changed, and I always encourage you to change your working directory to where you want, because on my computer this is the default. We're going to make some plots, we're going to visualize data, and when you do make a plot in R, this is the pane where it shows up. In a future video, we'll talk about packages, and packages are what makes R great. And this page shows you all the packages that are currently installed on your computer. And this is the help tab where you can get all sorts of help about R resources, RStudio resources, and these are tutorials and PDFs and all sorts of things actually that you can get from all these links. But beyond that, if there's a function in R that you don't really understand, more than likely there's a help file that you can view from within R. For example, let's take a look at the sum function. If I want to get help on the sum function, I can do it from my console, $sum, okay, and I press enter, and this is the documentation on the sum function, and I can go ahead and read, and it's going to tell me all sorts of things on the sum function, how I can use it, and in many cases it even gives me some examples at the bottom. So this is a pretty neat feature. The last pane is the viewer pane. We're not going to use the viewer pane in the introductory tutorial. This is for visualizing data, not plots, but maps and other types of visualization. Okay, if you make any of those, they're going to show up in the viewer pane. Okay, and of course we have many items in our menu. We're going to use some of them, and then we have some buttons here which are shortcuts to menu items above here. So this is the user interface of RStudio.